The Salaf were not a sect. They were simply the earliest Muslims. Yes, the word Salaf means those who came before. In Islam, it refers to the first three generations of Muslims. The companions who saw the Prophet, peace be upon him, Sahaba, their students, Tabi'in, and the students of those students, Tabi'in. That's it. These people lived very close to the Prophet, peace be upon him, in time. They didn't read Islam from books alone. They lived it. They prayed like the Prophet, peace be upon him, prayed. They understood the Quran the way it was first explained. When they disagreed, they went back to the Sunnah. There was no label called Salafi back then, just Muslims trying to follow Islam as it was taught originally. The Prophet, peace be upon him, himself pointed to them when he said that the best generations are his generation, then the next, then the next. That's why Muslims later respected their understanding so much. Now, the important thing here is that many of the most respected scholars in Islam were from the Salaf. Imam Abu Hanifa lived very close to the time of the companions. Imam Malik ibn Anas learned from the students of the companions. Imam Hassan al-Basri learned directly from many companions himself. This shows that learning Islam from the earliest and most trusted teachers. But why people still talk about the Salaf today? Because they were closest to revelation. Arabic was their language and culture hadn't mixed deeply yet, so their understanding helps avoid extremes. This answers the so what question. Today, millions of Muslims respect the Salaf and try to learn from them because understanding Islam through the earliest Muslims keeps things clear and grounded. But over time, something changed. The word Salaf slowly turned from a time period into a label. And that's where confusion begins. That confusion between Salaf and Salafi, now this is where most people get confused. Salaf was never a group, it was a time. But centuries later, Muslims started asking a simple question. A very important one: how do we understand Islam correctly when there are so many opinions? The answer many scholars gave was simple. Go back to how the Salaf understood Islam. Meaning, read the Quran the way they understood it, follow the Sunnah the way they practiced it, don't invent new beliefs. This approach slowly became known as following the Salaf. And from here, a new word appeared: Salafi. A Salafi simply means a person who tries to follow Islam the way the Salaf did. That's all it originally meant. That's it, just a method of understanding Islam. But over time, things got messy. Some people treated Salafi like a group name. Some argued more than they taught. Some focused on correcting others more than fixing themselves. This made many Muslims think Salaf are harsh and extreme. They have no mercy. But that's not true. The real Salaf were careful with words and gentle with people. They focused on action, not labels. Today you'll find millions of Muslims across the world who respect the Salaf. In the Middle East, South Asia, Africa, Europe. Some call themselves Salafi. Some don't like labels at all, and that's very good. But the core idea remains simple. Follow the Quran and Sunnah the way the earliest Muslims understood them. When this idea is practiced with knowledge and good character, it brings clarity. When it's practiced with anger and ego, it causes division. So the problem was never the Salaf. The problem is how people represent them. And that's the key takeaway. The Salaf were not extreme. They were balanced. And balance is what Islam has always been about.